Good evening, everybody. See or not see? That is the question. Yes. So, we're gonna make a child's cranium, which is a fantastic thing to have around if you're a weird person. So let's get going, shall we? So, as you see, I have 3D printed this skull here. I think it's called like children's fractured skull, and this other small teeth. This is a regular teeth. I kind of lost the files for this, so I cannot really credit anyone who did this. So I hope you can credit yourself in the comment if you see this. It's very helpful with this children's skull. I will have a crack in the back of the head. Anyway, so you see here, I'm just gonna push in here the soldering iron to melt the PLA plastic to the point where I can just push this in here. You do have to rearrange the teeth because children's teeth has a bit of a different sizes to an adult teeth because they're not really scaled to because they're gonna grow into their skull size in some way. I have put some research in this, and it turns out that I'm not very right on something because some children develop in other ways. But anyway, you see, I am cutting away here the excess plastic here to just even it out so it will look, you know, natural, because it doesn't really have lips over it. You just have, you know, sockets that are being pushed into the teeth when you are exposed like this. So you see here we're going to continue to make the tooth there. You see there is some of the 3D scan there. You still have some tooth, so we have to match that size is the best way we can, and also put one in between there because I think this is a skull from a, you know, much less older child than I had to do here, but yeah, you have to use whatever you have here. So you see here I'm taking here the sword on the lower jaw here, the mandibles, and just pushing in there, and then pushing in these two lower front teeth here into it. You see it like that. The problem is that when I had to readjust the size of the skull and take the jaws apart in the 3D program, that they did not scale up in the 3D printing, so I had to adjust them in size. So it's a little bit too small, actually, this jaw for the rest of the skull. But it looks okay. But if they are going to try to be attached, they are a little bit off. But you see, that looks fine, and then you have to work your way from the front teeth into the back of the head. So you see now we're coming together here and doing that. Teeth next to it will actually have to be a different teeth that is shrinked in the. I mean, well, you know, it's basically a trial and error process to get yourself through this dental work here. So you have to do this like many times, but it's a very therapeutic process of, you know, see your teeth coming together and being some kind of weird reversed dentist that puts in teeth instead of pulling them out of someone. Maybe this is slander to dentists, but who am I to judge? Anyway, you see there we have some excess plastic that's going to be cut away also. And if somebody interested in it, it is printed in 1.5 layers. So, and then I have you know, to sand it a little bit, this, so, you know, it does not look as stripy as some 3D prints can do when they come out. So anyway, now we see we have fixed that. Now this is nail polish on the teeth there, because the teeth usually have a little bit of a extra layers to them, when you see like dead animals in the forest, you see that their teeth are actually quite nice compared to the rest of the skull. So we're going to do some little shine here with nail polish here. I usually walk around in the forest, and when I find bones, I take them home with me into my collection of animal bones, because they have been useful to rent out to some movies sometimes. So that's a great asset, and also it's a good way to walk around in the forest and collecting things. If it is other seasons, I usually collect mushrooms. But anyway, so now we're gonna scratch this up a little bit, taking this flat brown color here to it, so it will look like a really old skull from back in the day when there was less numbers on the yearly end. Anyway, whatever. So you see here now I'm just gonna have to paint the teeth here by making them a little bit more yellowish brownish here, so get put some age into them here. You can also use this product that exists that is for making your teeth look disgusting in makeup sense, but they are quite an expensive product compared to just the paint you usually use to paint things. So now you see, now it's gonna wipe that off a little bit and doing this in stages, because it's gonna build up in the right way. And see also with on the lower jaw there, so it doesn't look like it has supermodel Hollywood super white teeth, because that would be absurd. Anyway, so now we're just gonna try to make them look as realistic as possible with several layers and you know, definitions to them. So now we're just gonna wipe a little bit off here, also it'll look a little bit whiter on some spots of it. And now I'm also gonna take this yellow brownish thing here and just paint the rest of the skull with, so it will look a little more aging. The important things when you try to replicate something that has been older, usually it's also for your eyes, that things usually don't have one or two or three colors. They usually have like many orders, so there's like many layers of things. Actually, even though it doesn't really look like realistic in the sense that that is what it looks like, but it's your brain registered as more realistic in some way. It's a little bit hard to explain, but if you try to do this yourself at home, you just have many different colors and layers, you will see what I mean, instead of just of having 3 layers of something. And now here, do not overdo this black thing here. This is just to, you know, highlight the cracks a little bit more, because this will be very easy to overdose. So that's why I'm just wiping this thing off here and just filling it in here again and again. And also all the other little interesting holes in the skull, which I know all them have Latin names, because a very nice man once told me all of the Latin names of the holes in the skull, and I do not remember any of them, but they do have Latin medical names, which I think it's very good, because if you're doing cranial surgery, you will know what you're doing, and do not misunderstand anything. Anyway, so now we'll do some definition on the teeth here also, so they will pop up a little bit more. Instead of looking like one big blob of a teeth. But anyway, so you can paint yourself to death with this and also scratch it up in layers. And you see also have some little black here around to make it a little bit more like realistic, to it's lying in some different conditions that will make it decompose in different ways all over the skull, so nothing is like uniformly painted. Yeah, so you see some little touch up there, and you will have a very nice little children's skull here. So now a little bit of black on the cracks in the bottom there also. Yes, and I think that will be the end of the painting. So I hope you find this child skull painting and yes, teeth reconstruction technique useful. Thank you for watching. Bye.